Welcome to Albert Road. I am Jordan, and today we're going to watch a debate between Dave Smith and Brandon Tatum. Someone called him Officer Tatum. Oh, no, it's in the title. Okay. I didn't know if that was like an insult or if it was like, I guess, a name he goes by. Either way, they're going to debate stuff. I assume, I can see the first topic here, free speech. I assume Israel will come up at some point, and yeah, we'll react to it. Before I get started, don't forget to share, support, hopefully donate to all the links in the description box. Check them out, read them, share them, then donate. All of it is very much appreciated. Also, please check out the Discord link if you want to join that, talk some shit with people, watch movies, listen to music, shit like that. And also, this video will be sourced in the description box, so if you don't like us pausing or talking over it, you can fucking go watch it there. It's boringer, that's a word, but please, do what you do, man. All links, description box. All right. Let's just jump right in. Here's Piers Morgan. Yeah. Piers Morgan hosting a debate between Dave Smith and Brandon Officer Tatum. Here we go.
Hosted Part of the Problem, and Brandon Tatum, better known as the Officer Tatum, both join me now. Well, welcome to both of you.
Is he a real cop?
No strangers to the show Uncensored, or indeed being uncensored, so it's good to have you both. Dave Smith, first of all, there is a sort of growing sense that Charlie Kirk was wrestling with the war in Gaza. He'd gone from a position of being a bit like I did, I think, of being very pro-Israel's right to defend itself, to getting increasingly concerned about the scale of what has been happening in the last few months in Gaza. What is your sense about that, and how significant is it?
Well, I mean, I think it's significant. I think it's really a fascinating story that maybe it would have been appropriate to wait a few more weeks before we really started getting into, but everyone dove into it, including the Prime Minister of Israel, right away. And I'll tell you what I know for sure, what I think most people know, is that, look, Charlie Kirk was in a different position than, say, just a commentator like Ben Shapiro or like me or you, Piers, or he was organizing a youth movement to, support Republican candidates. And the youth
Which is creepy.
are really abandoning support for Israel. And so he had a very difficult job as like the movement guy who's trying to keep a big tent going. And so he was attempting to do that. And you could see this at his last big event where I debated there, where he had speakers like Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly, who said some things, and I'm sure myself too, who said some things that really upset some of his backers and some of the more hardcore Zionists out there. And
Not
he
Megyn
was quite
Kelly.
open in his interview with Megyn Kelly about talking about the dynamic that you've experienced. I had a post on Twitter that or X that went viral about you, which I believe you reposted.
I did.
But I was just using you, like you were the latest example in this trend, which a lot of people have experienced, where people who are generally pro-Israel, in many cases have been pro-Israel their entire lives, have an issue with something that Israel does. They go a little bit too far for them, and they start criticizing them for that, and they're immediately met with accusations of being an anti-Semite and essentially the new Adolf Hitler. And I do.
I mean, we watched the Megyn Kelly, Marjorie Taylor Greene discussion, and it looked like Megyn was putting up stop signs and roadblocks to fuck up Marjorie Taylor Greene's arguments about things in regards to Israel. So, and that's what I would expect the most from Charlie Kirk. The PR has changed. It's not something where it's like, man, I had a revelation. Man, I had a fucking epiphany. It seems more like the marketing change, as far as like, you can't just run around saying, I love Israel no matter what. You can't just do that anymore. You have to put at least a little bit of tempered down criticisms. Otherwise, you're just not gonna, you're gonna get shit on by your audience. They're gonna call you a shill, and it's not gonna work. Like, even Piers Morgan seems like went further, I think, than those two would ever go, because they're beholden to other motherfuckers. Not even saying Israel per se, it's people involved in the U.S. and in Israel and in other countries. Honestly, that's who got people like Megyn Kelly and Charlie Kirk are fucking owned by. Let's just be honest, and probably willingly, right? Because it makes them handsomely rich, doesn't it? So, yeah, I can't go with the theory that, oh my God, Charlie saw the light and nah. Anyways, here we go. Don't worry, Dave Smith won't bother to make that argument, will he? He's too pussy. Here we go.
I think that that's very jarring and often has the effect of just pushing people further away from Israel. Now, I don't think that was happening in Charlie Kirk's case, but I do think he was certainly grappling with how do you keep this movement together when the young people who you're trying to galvanize and organize are abandoning Israel at an incredibly rapid rate.
Officer Tatum, what's your response
Not
to
a bad
that?
assessment.
Yeah, but my response is very similar. You know, I knew Charlie very well, and I know a lot of people that know Charlie. And I think that Charlie was wrestling with this conflict. I don't think that in any way he was changing his perspective on Israel, because Charlie's love for Israel goes beyond who's running Israel, goes beyond Benjamin Netanyahu. It goes deeper. It goes to a spiritual level. And Charlie was unwavering on that. But I do think, and I know this for a fact, that he was getting a lot of pressure because the youth was abandoning Israel to a certain degree, and it bothered him because he wanted Israel to do better with their PR to try to capture these young minds so they don't fall or be against Israel, because Charlie had a deep love and respect for Israel. So he was feeling the pressure, and a lot of people can't handle that pressure. And I think that Charlie was in a unique position. Unlike me, I don't care what people say to me. I don't really care. But when it comes to Charlie, he does care about what the young people are saying, because that is the establishment of all that he worked for so many years. I blame him for it, but I do know that it was the pressure that he was feeling. Megyn Kelly was feeling the pressure. And some people just, when that pressure is on, they try to move to a central point so they don't have to deal with it.
Dave Smith, there was Tucker Carlson made a pretty powerful speech, actually. I thought in many ways, certainly captivated the audience yesterday at the memorial for Charlie Kirk, but included what he described as his favorite story. Let's take a listen.
Ultimately, he was a Christian evangelist. And it actually reminds me of my favorite story ever. So it's about 2,000 years ago in Jerusalem, and Jesus shows up and he starts talking about the people in power, and he starts doing the worst thing that you can do, which is telling the truth about people, and they hate it, and they just go bonkers. They hate it, and they become obsessed with making him stop. This guy's got to stop talking. We've got to shut this guy up. And I can just sort of picture the scene in a lamplit room with a bunch of guys sitting around eating hummus, thinking about, what do we do about this guy telling the truth about us? We must make him stop talking. And there's always one guy with the bright idea, and I can just hear him say, I've got an idea, why don't we just kill him? That'll shut him up. That'll fix the problem.
Dave Smith, what did you make of that?
I don't know. I mean, I see people freaking out about this on social media today, but I think what I took from the message was that, yeah, he's telling the foundational story of Christianity and making the point that obviously Charlie Kirk was, you know, when you're assassinating someone for the crime of trying to have open dialogue and discussion, the idea is you're trying to silence that guy. You're against this discussion taking place. And I think the point Tucker was making was that, you know, if killing someone silenced their ideas, then the last several thousand years of Western civilization would look quite differently. And that the idea being that Charlie Kirk's his ideas are now going to have, which is I think just factually true, a larger platform and resonate with more people than they even could have in his life.
As indeed did Jesus Christ's views after his crucifixion.
Well, obviously, it'll be a twist and turn of whatever the fuck words Charlie has said out loud. That's in my opinion. Well, his things were already twisted in the first place. Like, they were political leanings to get young people to go support a certain party instead of, you know, supporting morals and what they believe in. Instead it's forcing people towards a party instead. That's what Charlie's job was. And they're just going to overdo that now by using the same words. They will overly do that, in my humble opinion, because people will fall for it. They're stupid. We're stupid. I don't fucking know. Who cares? Let's keep playing. Here we go.
So Tatum, I mean, a lot of people are trying to spin this as Tucker Carlson being
there's just way too many
very predictable, because that's the stick used
comparisons with Jesus. I think it's excessive now with
Oh, come on.
Charlie specifically. Like,
Charlie would be on his knees saying, "I'm sorry," if Jesus showed up instead of a gunman. Like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I'm very sure about that. I'm very, very sure about that. But here we go.
Be anyone that does anything that may possibly be construed that way. What did you make of that part of his speech?
Well, I want to address the anti-Semitic thing. I think that people, and this is my advice to people who are Zionists or people who are Jews, you got to stop with the pushing the anti-Semitic thing every time somebody says something you don't like. You have to stop. I was just talking to a friend yesterday that said he just got bombarded with people calling him an anti-Semite because he shared a post of somebody who, may have had a difference of opinion. So that needs to stop or you're going to lose all credibility and respect from good people that love you. Now, Tucker Carlson.
You're supposed to do that because it's the right thing to do. Do actual honest assessments, not just blanket term anyone. It shouldn't be used for strategy. I'm sorry, but like I hear these things and they're fucking pet peeves for me. Like, isn't that the wrong way to go about it? Shouldn't it be about like, oh, you legitimately believe this idea? Not, hey, you're gonna look bad if you say this. Isn't that literally the antithesis of what was just said right now? Of like, you're supposed to say what you think is the truth no matter what. And sometimes people take things out on you because you say something truthful or honest. And he's like, oh man, hey, listen guys. You're looking bad when you're saying this. Just stop doing it. Like, they look bad, they look bad. If they believe it, I care more if they believe it or not. It's more of a worthy thing than silence. Do you believe this? If someone puts up a counter argument and you look dead wrong, will you accept that? On and on and on and so forth. Sorry, just a pet peeve. It is what it is. It's my channel, okay? Say what I want. Here we go.
Also, when I first watched it, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't think none of it. I don't really like Tucker very much, but and I do think that he has a lot of negative things to say unjustifiably about Israel, but he's entitled to his own opinion. But I can see why some people are thinking that he may have been subliminally saying things that were connecting Israel to this whole thing. Now, I don't go down the bandwagon because I can't unequivocally prove that, but I did find it interesting that he had made mention as if Charlie was really an attack or attacking the government, as if Charlie's death was directly associated with government officials, when in fact, it was really these narcissistic lunatics that are over-medicated that hate Charlie because he's countering the arguments that we see that's pervasive on campus. The government is not taking extreme positions as the kids on campus are taking. They're brainwashed. I've been on campus. I've been to probably 40 universities. The kids on campus don't live in reality. They live in an alternate reality. They don't live like we do. We pay taxes. We have to go to work. We have to be nuanced about arguments and things that we get involved in. They are completely radicalized. So I think that people could take it a certain way. But let me tell you this. It seems as if Charlie was very good friends with Tucker Carlson. And it seems to me that Tucker Carlson can say whatever he want to say. And that may be the way he liked to grieve, or that's the way that he wanted to present himself at a ceremony. And I think people should leave it alone unless you have unequivocal evidence that he was somehow trying to do that, because you cheapen the love and respect and dedication that all of the people who spoke at the ceremony had for Charlie Kirk's life. People got to stop trying to go too deep on both sides. Let the man be loved and appreciated by everybody who was on stage, and quit trying to conjure up controversy and conspiracies.
Holy fucking pause. But also, I just want to mention here, if you were paying attention, he took one theory that he's like, oh, this is absolutely bullshit. There's no way this is the case of like what's happening. Then he replaced it with another one that's also unproven. It's this radicalization on college campuses. That's the real reason why things are happening out in the world. That's why he got shot. That's who shot him. Radicalized college kids. It's like, wait a minute. I thought you were supposed to say like, well, we need to like really get into the evidence and all that stuff, and we don't really have that yet. But instead, here comes another spin doctor spinning up a fucking narrative to get people to choose sides so that they never actually, I don't know, group together and call it all bullshit. Who knows? Who knows the real reasons behind it? I could take some guesses, but What I can say is he definitely replaced one theory that's unproven with another theory that's unproven. Right? Without even saying, oh, this is my guess of what I think it is possibly the case. Right? Instead, he just says, this is the case over here. It's radicalized college kids. A kid who went to college for one semester. Yeah. But all right, let's keep playing. Here we go.
Yeah,
Welcome,
Piers,
Joe.
can I
started this
just
video.
add to that? Because I do think
Don't
there's
worry,
something
you're
kind of
just in
interesting,
time.
like because
Perfect, I haven't
a
missed
black
anything.
conservative and a Jewish guy who's like a critic of Israel. There's always like some parallels that I see between those two positions. And I think maybe we could like across the board on all of these things, people got to just stop making accusations of bigotry based off of what you're guessing the other person was dog whistling. Like you're saying that there was that there was a secret message hidden somewhere in what the other person said. Listen, say what you will about Tucker Carlson. I know Brandon said he's not a big fan. I love the guy. Of all the things you could criticize him for, he'll tell you how he feels. I promise you. He'll tell you how he feels. If he has a controversial view, he'll say it. He's not hiding some view embedded in his story here. And people got to get over this, man. There's just like, if we couldn't take one lesson away from the last 15 years, that making these accusations of bigotry to shut down conversations and making these accusations where there's no tangible evidence that they exist, they do not solve the problem of real bigotry. They make the problem much worse. And everybody should back off of that. Now, I do want to ask, though.
All right, before he goes into his second part of this, I strongly advocate for people using their intuition. Just make sure well, for me personally, I'd say make sure people realize that you're talking about your intuitive thoughts. Like, man, I feel like this guy's lying. Do you have proof? No. You have evidence? Nope. You just have your only evidence is your intuition. Like, man, this guy seems like he seems like he's fucking lying to me. What's wrong with saying that? Can adults handle shit like that? Are vibes allowed?
Apparently not.
I think they should be allowed. In fact, I welcome them because, like, that's a faculty that that a lot of the robotic thinkers want to eliminate from conversation. When I don't think it should be eliminated. I think it should be very much present about like what you're feeling and your intuitive, maybe subconscious ideas of things, right? Just like, and bringing them up to the conscious level. Like, those are worthy to me. Man, the way he just said that, you sound like he's lying, bro. Why can't you say that?
I'm mostly a numbers guy, just because I like to have tangibles when I have to discuss something. But vibes is it's a tool. You can use that shit correctly, no doubt.
And it's a faculty. It's part of your psyche. It's there. We all use it. We have those things, and if you don't actually consciously look at it, it just becomes something that's kind of driving you in from the background, right? To where like you're like, man, this guy seems like he's lying, but you don't have proof. So you don't say it out loud, and you don't even let the thought come to the present of your mind. But it's actually operating in the background to where now you're like looking for evidence to prosecute this guy, right? To like dishonestly prosecute someone as a liar without, meanwhile the real reason was you just had a feeling that he's lying, right? And that's like unfair.
Which lemur do you think lives long enough to have children of its own? The one that ignores that weird rustling in the bushes, or the one that keeps an eye on it and maybe thinks to stay away from it?
Exactly.
There's your fucking vibes.
There you go. I like that one. I might steal that one, Joe.
Do
it. By the way, it can happen for happy things too, all right? Romance or friendship or whatever the fuck. Sports gambling. Anthony's not here, but sports gambling. Yeah. Like, yo, this guy's gonna score a touchdown today, bro. I feel it. And it's fun.
Minus the fact that the Atlanta Braves are statistically the best baseball team. Joe said at gunpoint.
They are the best team of all time. It's proven. 16 straight division titles. I mean, who does that other than the fucking Braves? Anyways, let's continue with, I guess, part 2 of where Dave was going. Here we go.
They make the problem much worse, and everybody should back off of that. Now, I do want to ask, though, I got to say, because as you mentioned there, you said that, your friend was being called anti-Semitic for sharing a clip of what someone else thought. And listen, man, we don't know each other, but literally the only interaction we've ever had is you called me, I think, a
Dave's
devil
here for
and
personal
one of
shit.
the worst people in America the other day, also for sharing
said
a clip
disgusting.
of somebody else.
No. Well,
devil,
that's great. I'm glad you brought it up. Because there's
okay.
a reason why I said that. It's not that I somehow mentioned something.
Oh, let's read this. Dave Smith and Nick are devils, two of the most disgusting people on the internet. I give Nick Fuentes all the credit in the world for this. Did Dave watch all of Nicky Boy's thing? It seemed kind of weird. Whatever, it seemed a little weird. But also, Officer Tatum is a weirdo himself, probably.
If nobody plays that video so we can find out what Nick actually said, I'm going to be not surprised, but disappointed.
I mean, I basically watched this thing after 5 hours of of music videos playing, and then Nick finally went live. And then I did it again, where I sat and watched 8 hours of music videos playing before Nick actually went live.
8 hours?
I'm trolling. It was more like 3 hours, actually, which is still a long time,
Still.
But this was like immediately after Charlie got shot. This was, or sorry, not immediately after. It was Nick's first statements about it, I believe, like on video.
So I could believe that recycled pool of promos going on and on for 8 hours.
Yeah, and Nick was basically, me and Charlie disagreed, but you know what? He's a real Christian. That's why he died, for being a real Christian. Meanwhile, like, he called him a fake Christian not too long before that. I think in August he called him that. It's just another thing of dishonesty to me, and more selling of the idea of left versus right. That's my impression of the thing overall versus whatever this 1 minute, 31-second clip is, which it could be like, oh, I love Charlie Kirk. He's the best. Where he's like kind of bigging Charlie up. Pause. But all right, here we go.
Something about you just in passing. You shared a post of one of the most disingenuous, evil individuals that I've ever seen online.
Evil.
Nick Fuentes shamed Charlie. Ever since 2017, he would come out, harass, accost Charlie at events. He would harass his wife. Him and the gropers would harass my wife because she's white. And this guy said Charlie is a fake Christian and he's disgusting and he should never be able to be on campus without being shouted down. And then he comes out and makes a fake apology. And I felt like you supported that. And then also, my art with you. I had never met you before. I disagree with you on Israel, but I respect that you come with your opinions. But when you were on stage at SAS and you chastised those young people and said they can never claim to be pro-life ever again because they support a genocide, I thought that was the most disgusting thing that any adult man could say to young kids who was just seeking the truth and openly listening to a debate between you and another individual. So the only reason I said that is based on those principles alone. I don't know you personally, but I thought that was disgusting. And anybody who support that Nick Fuentes guy who shamed my friend who's now dead, it bothers me to no end.
Okay. A lot there. Well, it's another, mediocre, kind of weak argument from Dave Smith in the TPUSA debate with Josh Hammer. Right, the idea, hey, pro-life guys, how are you supporting what's going on over there? It's very simpleton, right? But it's trying to appeal to common sense of, hey, you guys don't like kids being killed, right? Because they're innocent no matter what. You can't call a 5-year-old Hamas, right? You can't do that. So if these kids are getting blown up, how could you support? I guess that could be against abortion, but also in favor of this. So it's not really that. It's not some disgusting argument. I just think it's a mediocre one. All right.
It makes me think of that old George Carlin bit.
What's that?
Death penalty, sanctity of life. Death penalty, sanctity of life. Somebody's losing fucking ground here.
Yeah. And then the other part, I mean, yes, Nick has said things that would for the average person would probably piss them off, which is why I've made the argument that he's not really going to get any other than having his internet corner, right? Or maybe someone that's influenced by Nick, but they can't share that they're influenced by Nick. Maybe they go somewhere as far as like major politics or a major political candidate or something like that. But for the most part, Nick himself is stuck and relegated to the fucking internet. Let's just be honest. That's where he'll make his bones at. Pause. But yeah, I could see regular people being offended by the things he said, for sure.
You said bone.
Like, I'm not offended, but I could see why people would be offended. Like, Dave has to engage that idea. You can't just skip over it, I don't think. But either way, like, just deeming someone evil is also dumb as rocks to me. I go nowhere near doing shit like that. But all right, here we go.
Dave?
Okay, well, look, I mean, again, I said I give him all the credit in the world for this. And what was this? This was after Charlie Kirk was killed, him saying that he was a good man, that he's praying for his soul, and urging his supporters not to be violent in response to this. And I got to say, you know, I thought, as I think many of us did immediately after Charlie was killed, and immediately after your first reaction of feeling so horrible on a personal level for his family, you realize this is a very dangerous situation. And I got to say, for Nick Fuentes, you know, being who he is, to have him telling his audience, hey, if you respond at all with violence to this, I completely disown you. We need to be Christians about this. We need to be peaceful. We should be praying for him and his family. I give him credit for that. Whatever other beef you got with him, that's between you two. I didn't say I agree with the guy on everything he's ever said. Well, hold on. Let me just respond. I didn't endorse everything the guy's ever said. I said I give him all the credit in the world for this, and then shared the clip of this. Pretty clear what I was saying. And
I think you're missing the point that Nick has said all these wild things about a lot of people, including Charlie Kirk. And now he's like, oh, you know, I'm sorry. And maybe Dave's okay with the strategy of that, of like, hey, okay, guys, let's cool things down because that puts all of us at risk, maybe, or it could raise tensions. I understand that, but once again, I'm not a person that will ever sacrifice honesty for the sake of safety. Ever. Ever. We need to be real about it, like very real about it. But yeah, I don't like Charlie Kirk, the personality. I don't like what he was doing. This is not me saying this. I'm pretending I'm Nick Fuentes. But violence will never solve any of these problems. But then again, Nick has to actually believe that because I've heard him say he's okay with, you know, conquest over your foes. But it was more so about foreign policy than it was dealing with each other, right? With American versus American, right? But with foreign people, yeah, I think he's okay with massacring and killing. Like I said, I think I said it in the Nick video. If it was Netanyahu who got killed at a speech, I think he'd be smiling, giggling, and celebrating, which to me is also disgusting. But it's a different context, so either way, all these motherfuckers are mediocre, bro. All four of these motherfuckers are just disappointing to me. Either way, okay, let's keep going. Here we go. Here's Dave with more self-defense points. Here we go.
World for this, and then shared the clip of this. Pretty clear what I was saying. And by the way, I didn't chastise the kids at Charlie Kirk's event. I warned them. I warned them that if you're supporting the destruction of a captive, stateless people in Gaza right now, that you will never be able to claim to be pro-life again without being rightfully viewed as the biggest hypocrite in the universe. That's an opinion that I will gladly defend. And I noticed in there, you're not actually taking on that argument. You're just telling me how disgusting I am for having it. So listen, man, I think that if there's one thing Charlie would have wanted, it probably would have been for us to have this conversation without devolving into insults. You can say it's disgusting if you want to.
Are you
think
trying to destroy my liver, Jordan?
There, I think it's kind of undeniable.
You want me to have cirrhosis before I'm 35?
Being pro-life and then also supporting a policy, the price tag of which is tens of thousands of slaughtered babies, children.
Well, on that point, Officer Tatum,
a lot of them are babies.
I will let you respond, but let me just put that directly to you, because one of the reasons that I've become increasingly critical of Netanyahu's government, and you interviewed Netanyahu a couple of weeks ago on your YouTube show, and we'll play a clip from that in a moment, but one of my, and he won't do my show, just for the record, since the war started. because I think one of the reasons he won't do me is because I would say to him, you're not achieving any of your war aims. You're not getting the hostages released. In fact, if anything, I'd say you're imperiling their lives more every day as goes on. You're not defeating Hamas, that much is clear. You're causing endless more devastation. Your cabinet right-wing members like Smodrich, Ben-Gvir and others, they're talking openly about ethnically cleansing all the Palestinians. Are you not concerned, Officer Tatum, with a fair-minded head about this, that
Pause for a
actually
moment.
it is no longer a...
This is my biggest fucking problem with Piers. I can't tell if he just does. I can't tell if he just genuinely doesn't understand the shit, or if he's just wave riding. But whichever one it is, it's painfully obvious. It's like, if somebody hasn't put together by now that the absolute devastation of that entire region is the point, I don't know what to tell them.
Yeah,
I don't know what can be done.
It's kind of what I said about Trump fans. It's like they're going to wait till the last day when Trump pardons Ghislaine Maxwell to be like, wait a minute, Trump played us. There are people doing that with the blatant. And by the way, as far as like words being inflammatory, if I say genocide, that's pretty inflammatory. But in reality, I should be saying Holocaust because they are purposely killing civilians. Purposely. All evidence points that direction. My eyes, my ears, my intuition, my brain fucking says so as well. Based on the way they're behaving. Right?
Yeah. And what backs that up is it just keeps fucking happening. It keeps happening. Over and over and over.
But, well, see, a lot of people are waiting until the last person who's alive with a bullet 2 inches away from their head. Like, okay, now I'll say it. Okay, they're doing something bad over there. Like, oh, thanks, guys, for being that late. Thank you. But I'm being hyperbolic. I don't think they're going to kill everyone. What they're going to do is kill a lot of them and force the other ones to run away for their lives. And that's pretty fucking obvious.
They've already tried to talk to the sham government of Libya about dumping them there.
And
they also tried to talk to South Sudan about doing that.
Yeah. And honestly, if you look at like a lot of these people we're talking about, right? From Charlie Kirk to Tucker Carlson to Candace Owens. If you go back years ago, when people are like warning, like, yo, this is a distinct possibility. The thing we're seeing right now in Gaza, that is a distinct possibility because of the way they treat them already. The
first time I saw warnings of any sort that we might have this problem was, I want to say 10, 11 years ago, whenever they did the fuck was it called? Operation Protective Edge.
Okay. Yeah.
Those are the first warning signs that I can remember seeing.
My first exposure was around 08, 09, when I just first started getting into politics. And I saw a clip on Democracy Now! Of a guy talking about his mother being killed, his family being killed, and then his house getting mowed down, like ran over and flattened in the West Bank. And I was like, what? Like, wait a minute, that's like an egregious crime. Once again, pretend you're me at that time period where you're a baby. You know nothing about politics, nothing about world events, right? And you're seeing that for the first time or hearing about it for the first time. And you're like, holy shit, where's the police at? There should be like a crime scene thing going on. Like, this is wrong, right? But then you find out there's 100 other stories like it. And it's like, oh, fuck. So, yes, people could see the fucking signs for decades and decades and decades. Even before I first found out. Go way before that, you could see fucking signs of things.
You don't need a fucking doctorate in political science to put those puzzle pieces together.
Exactly. But what was being said by the typical news pushers out there? It's no big deal. Don't worry about it. Or they don't even cover it at all. Honestly, they wouldn't even cover it at all. But if they do talk about Israel, it's all in favoritism, and they have the right to exist, and they're just defending themselves against the evil terrorists that we're also fighting ourselves. right? Because of the war on terror stuff. And like, and it's just like, hey guys, like, just people like desperately doing things. Remember the Rachel Corrie story? Remember that girl? The girl who stood in front of a fucking bulldozer and got killed, got ran over. Some pretty little white girl gets ran over by a machine. No one gives a fuck.
Something really dark about that?
What?
I don't know how often this has happened, but I know of at least one time it happened. A bunch of the people. I'm pretty sure that this involved at least some of the people that actually did bulldoze her. They made a holiday out of it, where they all serve each other pancakes.
That's for those individual cunts. But I'm saying overall, where was that news coverage of pretty little white girl getting ran over by a fucking truck because she knew they were bulldozing housing and human bodies aren't going to stop them from pushing forward? And it's like shit like that was happening all the fucking time. Your news didn't cover it. Your favorite content creators didn't fucking cover it. In fact, they covered for it, most likely. And now we're here. Metaphorically speaking, now we're at the point where the bullet is 2 inches away, and now they're saying, hey, man, something bad's happening over there. That's where we're at. So when people get mad at me for saying, oh, well, Dave's arguments are fucking mediocre, there's a reason why I say that. What is he going to fall for next? He fell for Trump. He voted for the motherfucker and campaigned for him. Maybe not going around the country campaigning for him, but him and his reach and his broadcast and his fans and his followers and the Libertarian Party and all that shit. He was telling people Trump was the best option. He apologized for that, thankfully. But it's like, yo, you had evidence out the ass to say no to this motherfucker a long time ago. But yet, the problem persists, and these are the guys here to provide answers for us, too. They lead us into a problem, then provide the answer for it after. You make that make sense. Candace guided us towards Trump and favoritism towards Israel. As she played in her video where her and Charlie went to Israel together back in the day. They helped guide us here. And now they're providing the solution to it. Here's Morgan. Guided us here. Now he has the answers for it. I'll host debates. Like, come on. Like, enough is enough, man. Just call it, like, I understand if you're like, yeah, at least they're saying these things. Like, at least these guys who have platforms are saying certain things. I'll give them credit for that. Fair enough. But to dick ride like some of these motherfuckers do out here, like, damn, this is the voice of our times, bro. Dummies. You're dumb for that. You have to ask yourself, like, what are you missing out on right now where something horrible is happening? Is there a way to stand against it without even knowing that something bad is happening? Yes, there is. There is a way to do that. Admit when you don't know something. Stand on principles no matter what. So that if there is someone being shot with a baby being shot across the world somewhere that you'll never hear about. That even if you're not there, you're not present, you're not aware of that exact situation, you're already against it in the first place. So that if someone brings up a policy to you or an idea in your waking life that is in your conscious experience, you can say no to it immediately. No to that and anything that looks like that shit. No. It's not hard, it's not fucking rocket science. It's really not. Fuck, man. Like, we're all ignorant on something around the world. Like, but how do you deal with that? How do you negotiate that? You let some daddy on TV tell you what to do? To give you the answer? Or do you figure it out before it even happens?
I guess we wait for Daddy to give us the answer now.
Fuck my life, man. All right, let's keep it. Fuck, my fucking virus scan came out. Fuck you, virus scan. I mean, I love you. Love you a lot. All right, let's keep going.
We love you, Kaspersky.
All right, let's keep going. We're still in the personals thing, right? First personal accounts of Charlie Kirk. Now it's personal. Hey, you said this. No, I was saying this. Maybe they get to an actual topic at some point. Here we go.
You know, are you not concerned, Officer Tatum, with a fair-minded head about this, that actually it is no longer about a retaliatory self-defensive strike for what happened on October the 7th, but part of a much bigger plan, which many on the hard right in Israel have harbored for a long time, to displace Palestinians from their home in Gaza and from large swathes of the West Bank. Does that not concern you?
Okay, great question. Let me address a few things. I think that Nick Fuentes is disingenuous, and I felt like Dave Smith is intelligent enough, and I'm not challenging your intelligence, but I believe that you can see through the bullcrap on so many other people, and I felt like you should have seen the bullcrap through Nick Fuentes, because he's just saying that to save face now that Charlie is dead, and all the way up to his death, he shamed him. When it comes to the pro-life situation, there's a very big difference between articulating whether a person believes that life starts at conception, not perception, versus a person disagreeing with urban warfare and the way that Israel is carrying out their attacks in Gaza. That's two different things. They should not be conflated. When it comes to my concerns for Benjamin Netanyahu and his tactics in Israel, or his tactics against Gaza, there's a few things here. I think that Benjamin Netanyahu, and because the nature of the interview wasn't really a debate, it was more so me asking him questions that my audience wanted me to ask him, and him putting the answers out there, and people can debate that.
Maybe I should check that out.
I think a lot of people that I know in Israel.
Maybe I should check that out, because that seems to be everyone's interview style of that guy. I just ask him questions, let him say his answer, and let the crowd debate amongst each other. It seems to be everyone's fucking way. Trigonometry, Patrick Bet David, and apparently this fuckface. That seems to be how you handle a guy who, once again, he's not this Officer Tatum guy. Trigonometry people, whoever, PBD, these guys are not unaware of the idea that people are like, yo, they're committing a fucking Holocaust right now. They're not unaware of that. So thus, why not take it that serious? Because what if? What if, my man? What if that was the case? I'm sure he'll apologize when fucking documentaries come out, but that'll be, once again, when the bullet is 2 inches away from the fucking skull already. Too late. It's always too late. In my opinion, that's how righteous people have to take it. It's always too late. When I was saying things in 08, 09, too fucking late. Then again, we don't even look for greatness to fucking mediocre shit just to appease people. Is this good enough, guys? Was this apology good enough? Oh, it is? Okay, let's move on. No fucking backbone about this shit. Here we go. Boring ass.
Putting the answers out there, and people can debate that. But I think a lot of people that I know in Israel, including myself and others that are staunch Zionists, think that he is prolonging the war too long and is causing too much damage and irreversible reputational damage. He should have ended it sooner.
Oh, their PR, they're going to look bad? Oh,
he
wow.
He should have went harder. In America, if we had faced such brutality,
I gotta say it again.
People getting their heads cut off.
If you pay attention to this shit, you will understand that the destruction is the point.
Yeah. But this guy's full of shit, man. He streams full of shit. Or just, bomb the barrel stupid. Like, he makes a case for Nick Fuentes saying blacks have low IQ. He makes a point for that, if he's that stupid. Otherwise, I just think he's just full of shit. And he has friends in certain areas, and he can't cross his friends, which is a sign of blatant dishonesty to me.
Way to blow his cover, Jordan.
Pause. But also, fuck this guy. He's trash. All right, another bot to throw in front of Dave Smith to make him look like a genius. Here we go. Dave knows how to pick him.
Did it sooner.
I'm trolling.
He should have went harder. In America, if we had faced such brutality, rape, people getting their heads cut off. I saw videos of people getting their heads cut off. We would have been swift.
People haven't seen
those. Within 48 hours, would have caused the most damage that you've ever seen to a country in world history. And Netanyahu.
So that makes it justified? Like, so what? If Americans got attacked and they reacted the same stupid way, so the fuck what? Calling us stupid too? Come on. I understand the idea of empathy, but that's not the way you go about it, bro. I always lead with empathy. Like, yeah, I can understand people that see a certain scenario, believe it to be what it is, and react to it. Does that make them right? Does it make it okay? No. If let's say a fucking burglary gone wrong and they fucking kill someone's parents. Am I saying Batman right now? All right, let's not do that one. Someone sneaks into a house and kills someone's fucking family member or something like that. Should we hand a gun to the fucking victim's family and say, hey, go shoot him, go kill him? Is that the right way to do things on any level? Either legally, morally, Christian-wise, whatever fucking religion you want. I thought we figured out eye for an eye is not the way to go about things. Christ's sakes. So this is like irrelevant fucking point. God, this world's full of fucking dumb motherfuckers, bro. Really stupid people. Holy fuck. How did we get here? I mean, I hope those dummies realize they're paying this motherfucker's bills. This dumb fuck, where he does this for a living, and he knows nothing. He doesn't know anything. How'd that happen? Or he's full of shit and he tricked you. And you got tricked by a fucking dummy. Congratulations. Here we go.
Would have caused the most damage that you've ever seen to a country in world history. And Netanyahu, for whatever reason, is capitulating, in my personal opinion, to his own personal image. And that he don't want to look bad. He don't want to be shamed. He don't want people to say that he's committing a genocide. So he's playing in the middle for too long. 2 years of this war is too much. He should have eliminated Hamas immediately.
2 minutes of that war is too fucking much.
He's darned if he do, he's darned if he don't. He is not committing a genocide in Gaza. I think that's disingenuous at best, because no one committing a genocide would be giving food or aid to a people that they're trying to kill. They would not be sending leaflets and advising people of buildings that they're going to tear down. The population has grown in Gaza from 1948 all the way up until today. 500,000 they started with. They're at 2 million at this point. When did the genocide start? There is no genocide. People can argue the tactics that Netanyahu is displaying in Gaza, but you cannot be superfluous and add these arguments that seems to, in my opinion, be anti-Semitic in many ways. It's not. These people are terrorists, and not the Gazan people, the regular everyday individual, the terrorist group that came into a country and attempted to commit a genocide against Israel.
Cue the human shield argument.
They would have committed a genocide against Israel to a large proportion if it wasn't for the IDF and if it wasn't for the Iron Dome. Let's not forget they shot 4,000 missiles into Israel. They tried to kill everybody. The IDF is going in strategically. I wish that people had not died. I wish that they could end the war so there's no suffering. I wish that Hamas wasn't stealing food. The UN confirmed that 96% of all the aid is being looted. I wish that Hamas wasn't doing those things. I wish that Hamas would take the approach of Israel, which means when the rockets go flying into Israel, the people go into bomb shelters. When rockets
holy fuck, I have to stop. He's on a talking point. He's like, hey man, you're using all your, like, hey dumb fuck, you're using all your ammo. You're using all of it. Holy fucking shit.
He is on a fucking tear, and it would take me an hour to explain all the things that are wrong with that sentence.
There are plenty of talking point bullshit propaganda points that he's just saying that could just that could be dismantled quite easily, but he's just throwing them all out there. He's kind of he's brute forcing, essentially. It's fucking Christ's sakes. I mean, once again, each one of these things that he brought up there's like people that have gone over like very distinct stories about that. We've had Tony Aguilar that worked for the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation and saw how fucked up the way they were doing aid was, and the minuscule amount of food compared to a giant population, right?
And the other nasty thing about the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation is that shit's just a giant kill box.
Yeah. I can go to ideas that are not, they're kind of confirmed, but they're not confirmed yet, of groups that are funded by Israel that are in there stealing fucking food and charging premium prices for regular people to get food. There's so many fucking stories here. The UN The UN even said. Well, they also called it a genocide over there. I want to point that out. And also, the UN said, yeah, if we ran the humanitarian aid, we have a way to make sure we're not giving shit to Hamas. We have a system to deal with that. But of course, they're not allowed in. Instead, Israel wants to hand it out along with U.S. mercenaries. And maybe mercenaries from other parts of the world, ex-military dudes that are out there killing people, by the way. They're not just handing food out to, thousands of people rushing to get a bag of fucking flour. They are shooting them too. They are killing people. And he went over so many things. What else did he go over there? 4,000 rockets. 4,000 bottle rockets landed over there. Well, once again, Israel has been openly killing civilians in Gaza, in the West Bank, for decades now. For decades. Didn't just start October 7th, by the way. Purposely bombing, killing civilians, and then just, retconning it and say, they were Hamas, see? You have a picture of this guy next to Hamas. Killing journalists at a crazy rate. Killing doctors at a crazy rate. Blowing up hospitals at a crazy rate. Blowing up universities and schools and nurseries at a crazy rate. Blowing up civilian housing at crazy rates. How the fuck are you telling me they're being tactical and looking for the quote-unquote enemy? How the fuck is that the case? Even people in Israel are saying, what? This doesn't make sense. You're saying, wait a minute, you're saying Hamas is hiding in tunnels, but you're just bombing the whole city above ground. How the fuck is that hurting Hamas? Israeli civilians, celebrities have said shit like that. There's so much wrong with everything this guy just fucking said. He's just repeating shit that he heard somewhere else or that the script they handed to him. Go ahead, Jeff.
That place is so thoroughly destroyed that even if they stopped right now, the whole thing stopped, and the UN put up a concerted effort to rebuild that place, at any expense, fuck money, fuck what it costs, just get it rebuilt. We would not see that place reconstructed within my lifetime.
Yeah.
That is decades worth of damage that is going to have to be undone. It's probably going to take 15 or 20 years just to clean up all the fucking rubble.
Yes, where more and more dead bodies will be uncovered if they did that. But I almost assume they would just flatten and flatten and flatten, and then maybe quietly with no cameras around, look for body parts, try to dig them up, throw them in a trash can, and move on. I wouldn't be surprised.
That's been their fucking MO so far.
Yeah.
And this is a little more conspiratorial. I really don't have a ton of shit to back this up, and I really wish I did. There's also been whispers every so often of potential organ harvesting that's been going on. So that's a scary thought.
I've heard of that.
Again, I'm not claiming that this is true because I don't have enough shit to back it up.
The things that are proven are plenty enough. They're plenty enough of how prisoners are treated. People that aren't even charged with a crime that are in these Israeli prisons, how they're being treated. It's every up and way you look at it, there's a crime happening in one sector or another.
They throw fucking little ass kids in those prisons.
Yeah, they do. And they get fucking diseases, and they're underfed, and a lot of these prisoners fucking die without any type of famine happening. They just choose not to feed them.
And since you brought up the word famine, it's so bad over there that there's a large chunk of that population now that even if you gave them all the food in the world, it still wouldn't help them because they're at such an advanced state of malnutrition that their bodies have started to digest their own organs almost.
Yeah, they would need IVs and shit like that to get them up to the level of being able to consume food. Most likely.
There's a very particular treatment regimen that you have to do for somebody that's in end stage malnutrition.
Yeah. So,
and that's assuming that their bodies could even handle it, because a lot of these bodies are little ass kids who might not be able to tolerate that.
Yeah. All right. I mean, I'll say that Dave, I mean, turn this into the simplest arguments of all. Like, really go with, like, here's confirmed shit. Here's confirmed shit. Don't let him spin off of it. Don't let him spin around. Don't let him fucking juke you out. Stay on that topic and make him answer for it. Make him answer for 83% civilian casualty. Although it's probably much higher than that. But according to his secret papers found, discovered about Israeli internal documents about their ratio, like, go with the 83%, or go with the nukes, or go with, there's simple ass stories there to where he can't make an argument about it. And don't let him fucking go somewhere else. Like, well, Dave, I heard you suck at basketball. Like, what? I don't suck at basketball, bro. I don't suck. Watch this. I got video right here. See, look at that jump shot. It's pretty good. Don't get distracted, Dave. I beg you to. That's the reason why I call him mediocre, is that he gets distracted by things and he wants to, like, win the argument instead of, like, yo, showcase that this guy's full of shit by making him answer simple ass questions where there's no way around it. He can't dodge it. He can't dance around it. There's nowhere to go. The only way he gets around it if he brings up a fully off-topic fucking subject and you follow him there. That's the only way that happens. That's what Josh Hammer did to him. That's what Douglas Murray did to him. Keep it on point. Keep it here, Dave. I beg you to. I beg you learn from your past fuck-ups.
I'm going to throw out a freebie here because I'm feeling a little more charitable than I was the other night. That statistic of 83%. Think of it this way. That statistic of 83% is just what the IDF feels comfortable admitting in public.
That's
what they're willing to admit to in public.
Yes.
So how bad is it really?
It's probably much worse than that.
Yeah.
But
like the Gaza Health Ministry, we can't take that number anymore because that's a severe undercount.
Sure, but they're being very strict where they have names,
Yeah.
IDs, and all that shit for everyone. So I respect what they're doing with that. I'm fine with that. Although, for us speculating from the outside, yes, is most likely the numbers are a lot higher than that.
The best number I saw, this is from a doctor. I can't remember if it was just the one doctor or like a group of doctors, because I know a while back there was that open letter that like 100 of them signed. But the best estimate I saw from a bunch of these doctors that have been over there is that it's probably between 300,000 and 400,000 by now.
Okay.
And if this enforced famine doesn't stop, that number is going to spike even more than it already has.
Yeah. Once again, for me, the guy, like, I've showcased a video with the Matthew Cockrell guy. Whatever, it's high enough for me to be like, you're purposely killing civilians. Like, it's either on purpose or there's no care about the civilians. So it's like, I'll bomb through them. Either way, they're both war crimes. They're both Holocaust-looking things. Either way, in my
murder it's murder on an industrial scale.
Yeah, you're less than human. I can bomb through you, or I want to actually just bomb you. Either scare you to run away, or whatever the fuck the reason is. Either way, Dave has a binder full of arguments that are very simple that he can't answer for. If he just sticks with it, instead of trying to be the Mr. Debate guy, this could work out. But let's see what Dave does in response to this. Here we go.
Go flying into Gaza, the terrorists go into bomb shelters, and they make their people stay above ground to be the blunt force
of what they received in a war that they started for no reason. Talking point to be trotted out.
Hamas knew they could never beat
the
IDF in Israel. Why did they start the war? Why did they initiate conflict? Why did they rape people and do things like that and videotape it? Why do they still have hostages? And
you know the unpalatable answer, Officer Tatum. I'll come to Dave Smith as well, but the unpalatable answer to that, maybe they did it precisely to goad Israel into a massive overreaction, which would then make Israel and its government in particular hugely unpopular around the world, to the extent that the United Nations is convening today with the UK declaring a state of Palestine. They're going to be followed by other countries. Only really America and Israel's opposing this, but it may well be that Hamas, being a bunch of evil terrorists, thought if we do this, Israel will massively overreact. They don't care about their own people dying. That's completely obvious. And it could well play into our longer term game plan. Who knows? But it could be that. In which case, they've fallen for a hideous sucker punch.
It's a terrible
Dave Smith,
rebuttal.
your response to a lot to unpack there, but your response, and also taking in this news today about countries like the UK, declaring there is a state of Palestine.
Very ceremonially announcing that. It's once again they're announcing that with the bullet 2 inches away from someone's head. That's when they're announcing.
It's too late.
It's too late, and there's no real recourse. So what are they gonna do? You're gonna have Macron waving a Palestinian flag? Okay. And this problem was there. Once again, very predictable. Problem was there and predictable a long fucking time ago. But let's see what Dave says. I hope, once again, I hope that he just keep it simple, make a simple statement that is proven information, and make him account for it. And don't let him wiggle away. He looks like a little wormy wiggler motherfucker. Keep him on point here, Dave. Here we go.
Sure. Well, I mean, I don't know. I think Brennan kind of almost hit every single talking point there. So I don't know. I mean, I've been knocking all these down for years on your show here. The bottom line is just that it is just, look, to sit here and say that even as you say, obviously, Piers, it's not like Hamas had to be rocket scientists to figure this out. This is what terrorism is. It's asymmetrical warfare. The action is in the reaction. Osama bin Laden didn't think he could take down the United States of America by taking out our towers. He thought he could lure us into a war in Afghanistan and that might bankrupt us. It was the plan that our CIA coached him through in the late 70s and early 80s with luring the Soviets into Afghanistan. And so the idea that and look, we did it. We blew $8 trillion in the Middle East since then.
Money.
And so that's the idea here. And Israel's completely fallen into the trap. But of course, the reason why people that Israel has done irreversible reputational damage, the reason why people are abandoning supporting this is really just twofold. Number one, it's clearly not in America's interest. And number two, this is just indefensible. Even if you say that, hey, look, Hamas goes down into the bomb shelters and leaves the civilians up there to be bombed. Okay, but then ain't there a moral question about whether it's the right thing to do to just drop those bombs on the civilians when you know the terrorists are down in the towers? Hold on, you had a chance to go through all this stuff. So
I know, but I want you to. Can I just
you just went off on every talking point,
and I'll shut up. No, just explain that
okay,
too.
But I'm just going to finish. I'm just going to finish.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to finish what I did. Well, what they should do is embrace a two-state solution. Ultimately, they should stop occupying a people as they've been
done
doing
it 5 times,
years.
and the Arabs rejected
it. No, they haven't. Now
5 times,
I
the
know
Arabs
you're going to
rejected it.
Yeah, I get it. I know you're going to hit it.
Guy brings up point. Dave moves to somewhere else. Moves with him. Like, he should just respond with something very simple. Here's a simple question for you, Officer Tate. Here's a simple proposition. Here's a thing that's been backed and there's proven evidence behind it. We have it documented. How do you explain that? And then I'll sit there, dance around, try to explain it. I'll come back to you, Dave. You just say, hey, my man, you didn't answer the fucking question. Let me ask it again. How do you explain this? They're trying to avoid killing civilians. How do you explain this incident right here?
How do you explain what happened to Hinder Job?
If he doesn't say, oh, I've never heard of that. Okay, you haven't heard it. Fair enough. Let's move on to the next one. How about this incident? I never heard of that either. Okay, next incident. And just keep going down the fucking line until he has oh, well, I could explain that one. And he will instantly look like, if your goal is to win debates, Dave, you would look stupid. If your goal is to showcase that some of these people out here are full of shit, which would be my fucking goal, boom, blatantly full of shit. But instead, I think Dave's this guy's gonna back up to the corner like, oh, what you do? You afraid to hit me, huh? You afraid of me, huh? Backs up into a corner. Dave's like, I'm gonna follow you there. I'm gonna go with you where you lead me. God. All right, here we go. Here's Dave winning another debate, I guess. He won, guys. Yay. He won.
Every Hasbro talking point.
Can we even really say? Can we even really
hitting the
call that a
books.
win? I don't feel like we can say that's a win.
I wouldn't personally, but I don't deal with wins in regards to shit like this. There's no winning. Something terrible's happened. There is no winning. Here we go.
No, it's not. It's a talking point.
Well, I
It is not
consider
true.
somebody
The Palestinians have never once been offered
accepting a different perspective when that's not fucking happening here.
Well, no wins for me. Here we go.
two-state solution. Ultimately,
This is so zero-sum.
stop
It
occupying
hurts.
the people as
They've
been
done
doing
it
for
5
60
times,
years.
and the Arabs
No, they
rejected
haven't.
it.
This okay now?
5
again,
times,
I
and
know
the
you're
Arabs
going to
rejected it.
Yeah, I get it. I know you're going to hit every Hasbro talking point. That's not true.
I'm
There's
hitting
been
facts.
lots of books. No, it's not. It's a talking point. It is not true. The Palestinians have never once been offered a full-fledged
how Dave's
state.
arguing
There
this
is not
now.
one of those 5 times that they were
He's
ever
smiling.
offered a full state.
Look,
Even,
guy's
by the way,
smiling.
that's not even your own Hasbro talking point. You're supposed to say 97% of what they wanted, which also is a lie. The point is that it doesn't, no matter what you're going to say here, Israel propped up Hamas for years to keep them in power so that Netanyahu could thwart the creation of a Palestinian state, to then use them as a justification for mass slaughtering a captive people that you have
just
kept
war.
stateless for 60 years is morally indefensible. And I'm sorry, I didn't realize I had to actually paint the full thing out. When I was talking about the pro-life analogy, yes, being pro-life is about
went back to
believing
this
that life begins at conception, but baked in there is also the assumption that you think it's wrong to murder kids. Like the point is that yes, if you're
Nobody
pro-life,
thinks
then
it's
you
right to
also
murder kids.
yes, but you're supporting a policy that is doing just that.
There's no policy to murder kids. It's urban warfare. Unfortunately, people die. There's no
Call it
show
a
me the
different-
policy that
so
says
call it a
you should murder
different
kids in
name.
this.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, that is. Look, when you drop
Dave's, here's your chance. Here's your chance to bring up a specific story to where he has no way to move around it. Here's your chance, Dave. Of sniper shot, you have the Tony Aguilar statements. You have all this evidence in the world. Videos of Israeli snipers giggling as they're shooting children by themselves. You have all of this in front of you. Bring up one of these stories and make him answer for it. Here we go.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, that is. Look, when you
I'll be right
make
back.
a decision to
Excuse
drop
me.
a bomb
Yep.
on a building where you know there are children inside of it, yes, morally
given
speaking,
leaflets,
you murdered
You've
those
given
children.
phone calls.
Oh,
You've told
okay,
them
so
to
the leaflets make
evacuate.
it not murder. Okay. So how about when they don't?
There's no
How about this
intent.
last attack?
There's no
How
intent
about,
to
hold
murder
on.
them.
Wait, Brandon, let me
There
ask
you
you
go.
a question.
Specific thing.
Follow up. How about when they don't? What about when they don't drop leaflets? What about when they don't have evacuation orders? They just did this in Gaza City yesterday. How about that? Is that now murder?
Well,
I
they
just
don't
took
have
away
to.
your excuses.
No. I could give you an example. They don't have to drop leaflets and give phone calls if they're
So then why are you
operating out of
bringing that
military. I'm saying when you're shooting weapons and Hamas is firing weapons and using it as a military base, they don't have to give leaflets to give evacuation. Instead, if it's a civilian building or something where they can eliminate having casualties, they will do that to the best of their ability. But there's some instances where they can't
again-
give notification because Hamas is operating out of these hospitals, operating out of mosques, and they have to do what they have to do in this warfare.
They have to. No, they don't. They actually don't have to. They
What should
could
they
just
do
not
then?
do
What
this.
should they do
By the
then,
way,
Dave
I
Smith?
love
What should
Piers.
they do?
I love I love Piers. I think it was Aaron Matei who coined this phrase. I could be wrong about that, but someone said the entire Israeli case rests on you saying that nothing justifies October 7th, but October 7th justifies anything. Like nothing. There's you're sitting here. Yes, look,
What
you
should they
can
do,
pick one
Dave?
side or the other. One second. You can pick one side. I'll answer that question, but just interrupting my point with that question over and over again is just so I can't make my case.
Thank you for going over that,
You
Dave.
can go tit for tat here. There's been terrorism on both sides. Israel has been occupying Gaza and the West Bank /and/or controlling Gaza and the West Bank since 1967. There's
now we're
going
back
to
in
be resistance
1967.
to that. And then for you to say that resistance now justifies us slaughtering people by the tens of thousands, destroying all of Gaza is just there's no logic in it. There's no morality in it. What should Israel have done? Number one, Benjamin Netanyahu should have resigned on October 8th. After his plan to prop up Hamas, being this genius right-winger that I'm going to keep Hamas in power because, in his words, he could control the height of the flame, and this will balance things and thwart a Palestinian state. When that blew up in his face, he should have resigned in disgrace that day. They should have had a real investigation about what actually happened on October 7th. Our late friend had some questions about that, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
They should have really looked into that, which we've never gotten to the bottom of. And then they should have done surgical strikes, targeted assassinations, as Israel has always done throughout their entire history with the terrorism problem. They have never, until Netanyahu, treated it as a problem for the regular old army, and it should have culminated in a real peace process. They should have said, we are going to take out the people responsible for this by targeted strikes, and at the end of that, we're ending the occupation. We're giving all of East Jerusalem, all of the West Bank, and all of Gaza to the Arabs. It's their decision what they want to do in the future, but if we are attacked, we will treat them as a foreign nation and go to war with them. That's what the response to October 7th.
And by the way, Officer Tatum,
this.
I think the biggest mistake.
That's a scary fucking response, Dave. Look who you're handing the keys to do that. It's just handing George W. Bush. Yeah, when this happened, I'm going to give George W. Bush the keys to go take care of it. What the fuck? I get his point, but it's just like, you could bring up specific example. Isn't there a major motion picture coming out? You know, where, you know, you see, I think we've seen like Joaquin Phoenix and all these fucking actors and shit, like praising this movie, where it's a girl who's in a car, I think the car gets shot 300 something fucking times. Her and her family are in a car. This one little girl got shot like 300 fucking times. Like, that's even mainstream. I mean, Dave. You get the 15 ambulance members. Yeah, you have all these examples, dude. Hey, bring up a specific one where there's no way around it. But Dave, okay, seems like he does a lot of defending of his own honor in a lot of these arguments. But all right, I mean, yeah, I mean, like, let me say this. The reason why I want that shown, once again, I'm explaining it again, but I've said it before, that it's to showcase the guy you're arguing with, Dave. Most people already are like, yeah, Israel's doing something wrong over there. It's fucked up. It's wrong. Most people are already like that, Dave. So, you don't need to convince them, I don't think. Although there's some people that are on the fence, maybe, and they can hear what you're saying and buy into it. Fair enough. But what they really don't realize, especially in regards to like someone like Netanyahu, like Dave just made it seem like a certain way with Netanyahu. That like he's just a regular ass guy who's, you know, into weird things, so thus he does some weird stuff. Instead of like, oh no, this is pathological. That guy and his administration's behavior, and guess what? A lot of IDF members and commanders and soldiers and all that shit are behaving very pathological, like super duper pathological. That needs to be understood. But I'm saying for this Officer Tatum guy, like, hey, what if this guy's being pathological, whether he's full of shit or just extremely ignorant? Why not showcase that? Ask questions that can maybe lead to a sense of an answer for that. Like, is this guy just lying to us to protect Israel? Or is he, you know, honestly thinks these things are the case? Well, if we bring up a scenario where there's no way around it, you have no talking points on your side to do anything with it, you're stuck here. It'll showcase if your main goal is to protect Israel or if you're just a dummy who fell for something. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense to people.
I've clearly missed something very interesting.
No, I don't think you did. It's me. I'm reiterating the thing I've said 10 million times, especially in regards to Dave Smith and how he debates people, where he like kind of debates to win. It looks like a lot of times instead of like, hey, let's showcase that this guy's
trying to outflank them at every turn.
Well, like just ask simple questions to where this guy has to answer them. And if you see him peek down at his talking points, like, okay, busted, caught you. You're full of shit, aren't you?
Let that be a lesson, Dave. Sometimes less is more.
Well, it's just for me personally, in my assessment of the way the world behaves, like we're at, once again, kindergarten level of people can lie to us and we fall for it. So is there a way to try to showcase someone's lying to us? And that's what I would wish Dave would go in the direction of. But I guess doing this will win the debate. He'll win. People will be like, yeah, Dave destroyed this guy. But this guy will keep going. his fans will keep
I think
liking him.
kindergarten might be a little generous, but it's your metaphor. I just live in it.
Fair enough. It's just this guy's gonna get away with this stuff. He is. They're safe around like the most ardent, full of shit artists. People like Douglas Murray or the Josh Hammer guy. These guys are blatantly full of shit. Blatant liars, blatant propagandists. I don't know the Tatum guy as well, but those other two dudes, 100% full of shit propagandists to me. And Dave couldn't showcase that today. In fact, in one instance, Douglas Murray did it to himself, to where like, man, this guy's full of shit. He's pompous and arrogant. Fuck this guy, he's trash. But the Josh Hammer dude was like, no worries over here. I ain't sweating this.
I haven't seen a ton of Officer Tatum. Definitely not enough of his videos to like fully evaluate him, but he doesn't strike me as somebody who believes what he says.
Well, it's like
it feels very. How do I describe this? It feels very rehearsed.
Well,
like it's a character.
Yeah. Well, I believe that there's a chance. Not that I'm some king debate person, but I believe there's an opportunity to showcase that, like, without any like background documents and all this shit, you can almost showcase someone's being full of shit on behalf of for whatever reason. Right? Like, you can almost showcase they're getting paid by someone without even seeing documents of them being paid by someone, just by certain answers to certain questions. And that's what I wanted Dave to do, like really isolate certain things, like answer for this, make an answer for this. But Dave gets dragged into other people's arguments and tries to, I guess, defend himself over there, or defend his point over there, or defend himself, period, in regards to something like, hey, listen, I can showcase Nick Fuentes, okay? I could do this, right? And it's like self-defense, and it's like, is that what you're here for, man? You should almost be like, yo, fuck, like, forget about me. It's about this fucking topic, and I think you're a liar. You don't have to say that, but at least think it or something. Either way, whatever. Let's keep playing. Let's see if Dave redeems himself in my eyes. At least.
How much is left of this?
12 minutes, looks like. And who knows if it's all even about this topic. If it's, you know, Pierce's last word or some shit, some segment like that, I will be turning it off at that point. But here we go.
I'm going to guess the last minute or two is just the usual shameless plugs.
In terms of tactics and strategy, was the attack in Doha, which failed. It didn't kill any of the Hamas commanders. But the amount of fury that has created amongst the Arab countries, from Saudi Arabia, the UAE and others, but also apparently, according to Haaretz, amongst Mossad, who are absolutely furious about that attack on one of America's main allies in the Middle East, someone with 10,000 American troops in a base there, to just attack with impunity Qatar.
Okay, that tidbit about Mossad being frustrated with the Qatar attack is news to me.
And I don't know. I'll have to look that up myself, but here we go.
Yeah, that's
with 10,000 American
time.
troops in a base there, to just attack with impunity Qatar, and to attack people who were at that moment deliberating over a potential peace plan, and then to fail anyway. So you cause all the mayhem without achieving the goal. It seemed to me symptomatic of where Netanyahu's got to. He's not achieving any of the goals here. He's just making things worse and worse.
No, Piers, that implies that they're not trying to achieve this quote-unquote goal that you say they have. What? Come on. In the middle of negotiations on a neutral site, they bomb it. That means you're not actually after that goal of a permanent ceasefire. Duh. And then the numerous breakings of the ceasefires since this thing fucking started. Like, come on. That's what that actually implies.
This takes me back to one of the first proposals that was just a humanitarian pause. So
hey, now
you'd be a fool to accept that.
Y'all don't attack Officer Tay.
Yeah.
He's one of them good blacks. You know, there's a few of them. Very few.
Yeah, Dubster.
We're recording.
I know you have steroided black men in your bed right now, Dubster. I understand. I know, the good ones. All right, let's continue.
I think that one could argue that. I'm not disagreeing. I think that there needs to be an investigation into it and figure out what should we do and what should we not do. America knew that he was going to do the attack. There's no way in the world Israeli jets could fly through airspace without America knowing about it and do that attack. So America gave the green light pretty much. And then we go. I want to go back to some of the things that Dave Smith said.
And now we're done.
It sounds cute to act as if they're just indiscriminately bombing people. They're doing strategic strikes. They have to get approval to do strikes. We know that they're doing it. People don't like it. It's ugly. I get it. I hate that it's happening. I would have ended the war 40 hours,
mad.
and it would have been a mass casualty situation. However, we would have been done quicker, and it would have been 2 years. The two-state solution idea. They don't. Why are we lying to ourselves? They don't want a two-state solution. They want Israel to be absolved. They do not want a Jewish state. They made it clear, I don't know for how many years. Netanyahu,
I agree. They don't want that. But guess what? They might take the scraps that are given to them. They might take that.
They might take... I have a feeling they're probably
How
going
is this
to
in the
accept
fucking
like
argument?
tiny Bantustans.
How the fuck is that an argument? Holy Christ. This is another shit show, bro. Another shit show. Here we go. I'll play.
Moved Jews
This is a joke.
from Gaza and gave it to them. And what did they do in return? They elected a terrorist organization that extracted funding and
There's still
resources
Jews
from
in
them
Gaza,
to
you
build
idiot.
tunnels to create terrorism against Israel. They cannot live in peace with these people. They continue to fight against Israel and the Jewish state. And I don't understand why we're acting as if that's not so. They've given them their own sovereignty to a certain degree. Imagine if they had
Do you
their
think,
own
Officer
state.
Tatum, do you think, Officer Tatum, that Palestinians should have the same rights, human rights, as Israelis?
Let me put it in perspective.
It's a yes or no.
I will. Let me get to it. I will.
No, you can't equivocate.
I will answer it.
You either believe that or you don't. The reason I'm asking you, it's so central.
Let me start with your. Let me answer your question first.
It's so central.
Let me answer your question first. Yes.
Okay, good.
Answer is yes.
Good.
But let me articulate that there was a war fought, and Israel won the war, so they don't have to do anything for anybody.
Wait, what war are you talking about?
1948. Was that not a war that was fought? They got attacked on all sides.
There's been many wars
after they
since
rejected
then.
the two-state solution. After they rejected the two-state solution, a war was fought. They won. Every war that has been fought, Israel has won. They've been victorious. They don't owe Palestinians anything, but they're peaceful people.
Which war gave them?
They owe the international community in regards to lawful acts of how you conduct wars and shit like that, and they've broken that. Now, unless the UN is just a bunch of anti-Semites, I'm sorry. Like, even by the simple standards of these dumb fucks at the UN, they're fucking up. They're committing egregious attacks against human rights. Straight up, according to the body that they chose to follow. Right? Israel entered the UN, correct? They chose to follow the guidelines, correct? They're breaking the guidelines, correct? And they're saying, fuck you. You got no army, correct? But once again, ask the simple questions, guys, and make him answer them. That was a good attempt that was an okay attempt by Piers Morgan right there. Like, yo, should they have equal rights? Yes, but what does Israel owe them? Well, maybe they don't owe them, but they owe the international community, don't they? Aren't they a part of the UN? So they owe them for sure, don't they? But anyways, here we go.
No
war gave
war.
them the right.
They don't owe them. They don't owe.
I don't know what the fuck we're supposed to do with these two.
No, actually, I mean,
At
they
this
only
point.
owe them what we all owe each other. I
This guy's
suppose.
a cop too.
What
I mean,
war
you can make
Israel-
that. You can make that argument, but that's not. It's not
Don't
a
get
real
pulled over
argument.
by this dude, bro.
Yeah, it is.
Steroid
What
black dude.
war
Don't get
did
pulled over
Israel
by him.
win that gave them the right to occupy the Palestinians in perpetuity for all of history?
Let's bring into. But first of all,
This shit's for the birds.
I don't know why you think it's an occupation. Jews have lived in Israel since the beginning of time, never ceasing to exist in Israel. They were the majority, became the minority.
Yes,
they
those
never
two
ceased to
things
exist
are not
in Israel.
related at all.
Let me
but
finish.
Yes,
Let me
okay.
finish. What I'm saying is that
Israel kicked Jews, Palestinian Jews. They kicked them out too, so people realize. And yes, there are still Jews there to this day, and Christians and other denominations. All right.
One of the
Because
buildings
they're fucking
that
people.
one of the buildings that got blown up pretty early on was actually one of the world's oldest Christian churches.
Yeah, I brought this. I had this other story up a million times of a Jewish girl standing in front of a Palestinian flag that was painted on a wall, and IDF soldiers just pushing her out of the way to spray paint over it or to cover the flag because they took over that territory, right? So like, that's ours now, so we're gonna get rid of the flag. But she was Jewish, apparently. But anyways, here we go.
I think it's an
Acting as if
occupation
Jews don't
because
have
it's a military occupation.
Jews, what I'm saying is that Jews have entitlement to the land. Palestinians don't have exclusive entitlement. So when a war is fought,
Israel is a
the Jews
nation
can make
state.
the decision what they do with Palestinians
Dummy.
or not. Just like in America, we can say what we want to do with the Native Americans
So
or
let me
not.
ask you. Okay,
let me finish. Let me finish
just
my
ask you,
point, and I'll answer your question.
Okay, sure.
Just real quick, it'll be a couple seconds. But because we have humanity and dignity, we allow for Native Americans in America to have reservations, and we support them in all of the above.
Thank you, by the way.
Because Israel and Jews have dignity, they allow them to have swaths of the West Bank, and they allow them to have Gaza, where they elected their own government system. Now, do Israel have control? I see why. Can't you see? If they had absolutely no control, they had no idea what was coming in through the southern border, through the sea, how much more of a terrorist attack would we see in Israel? It would be even more massive. So I understand that.
Okay,
but when they were offered a two-state solution, why did they reject it?
All right, Dave.
Again, I don't know what period of time you're talking about, what
wasn't
war
fair,
you're
and
talking
also
about.
you
But
do
so
that with
here's a
negotiations.
major difference. You might notice
Pretty
this,
simple.
Piers, between Native Americans, say in the United States of America. You know, they have a
So
citizenship.
yeah, I'm sorry if I'm
voting
repeating
rights.
myself here,
And
but
so at a
again, this shit's for the birds.
Yeah. Here we go.
This is
Major
trash.
Here we go.
You might notice this, Piers, between Native Americans, say in the United States of America. You know, they have a citizenship and voting rights. And so at a certain point,
we've
if you're going to
given
say, okay, yes, that's right. Now, how about the Palestinians living under Israeli control in the West Bank? They do not have citizenship or voting rights. And so if
they don't
you're
have
gonna say,
citizenship
no,
in
listen,
Israel.
Right,
They
and
do
Israel's
vote
the
for- they do
government
have
that's
elections.
controlling.
They
Yes,
have
but you're-
elections, don't
listen, Brennan, think about
Do they
what
have
you're
elections?
advocating for. That's not you're not addressing the point here. They don't have citizenship in that. You just said that, hey, you understand why Israel is going to control these areas because in your estimation, there'd be more violence if they didn't control these areas. Now, I disagree with that estimation, but whatever. Okay, but then you're saying Israel has control and these people don't have citizenship or voting rights in Israel. If Israel is controlling Gaza and the West Bank and they've got millions of people there who don't have citizenship or voting rights, don't have any say in that government, what would you call that? By the way, we could I could make the argument that there'd be less crime if we just occupied high crime black neighborhoods in America, stripped all the people of their voting rights, of their civil rights, of their natural rights, and we just had a military occupation. But I think we would all accept you're not allowed to do that to people because we're like,
Dave, your argument
kind
is
of
not
already there.
Your argument is not a real argument.
So that this,
They don't-
keep saying
they
that.
can't even call that a
Take
small
Gaza.
leap.
Hey, listen, okay, let's
Yes,
give it. If they actually
Israel doesn't control Gaza.
No. If
Who
they actually
does?
control Gaza, okay, let me answer. If they actually control Gaza the way you're saying it, they would have never elected Hamas, and they would have never built tunnels,
And
and they would never
funded.
stole funding and manipulated the people, and they would never treat women the way they do,
Why?
and they would never throw people
Why
off
would they
buildings.
have never done that? Why would they have
Israel
never done that if what I'm saying is
if
true?
If Israel controlled them, they don't control them. They left them to their own devices.
Okay, so just to be
and in the
okay,
West
so let's
Bank,
just be very clear.
the PLO
Right.
has manipulated the people. That's why they have a separate election
Yes.
in Gaza, because the PLO had manipulated the people in the West Bank, and they didn't want that governance. So they are governing
Sure,
themselves.
okay.
However, you will never see. I've been to Israel. You will never see Jews in Palestine or
Dave
what you
just
call
said,
the
we
West
know.
Bank. You would never see them in Gaza. But there are hundreds of thousands of Arabs and Palestinians that work in Israel. I was there. I saw it. I'm even surprised October the 7th
nobody's denying
happened.
that. No, yeah, everybody knows. Israel's
What
been
I'm saying
20%,
is that what I'm saying is
Palestinian
that
for its entire
Israel
existence.
is not treating Palestinians the way that people are acting like they are.
Okay, I want to.
They gave them freedom.
Okay,
and
I've
allowed
got to
them to do
listen,
what they
because
need
you
to
saw
do.
the
And
videos
use what
where
the
they
result is.
saw-
Okay,
in
wait a second.
Israel,
I've
so they're
got
not
to
treating
wrap
them that way?
things.
Yeah.
I've got to wrap things. But
I've been to
I wanted to
Israel. I
ask
was
Dave
there.
one question before we wrap. It's just
I was there, man.
this
On the front lines
decision by
In
the
Gaza?
UK and other countries
in the West Bank.
to declare a state of Palestine has been ridiculed by Israelis as simply playing into Hamas's.
Here's Piers Morgan again, bringing up the UK, and the UK has declared a Palestinian state as like a pride moment for him or something. It's the fourth fucking time he's repeated this shit. Like, Piers, the bullet's 2 inches away from the fucking skull. They declare a state that's quickly evaporating. Wow, what a fucking achievement. Come on.
Whoopee.
It's the same as Obama saying, like, listen, we're going to leave the Julian Assange thing alone. We're going to leave him alone. Knowing very well that the next guy's going to fucking run him over. The same concept. Fuck my life, dude.
This makes me think of how Obama refused to prosecute any of the people that were responsible for the crime that was the Iraq War.
Huh. That's funny enough, Joe. That's what Trump fans are saying, aren't they? Wait a minute, you have Clinton caught right here. Go for it. He's like, no. In fact, wasn't there a random story about Russia, the Russiagate story, and these guys are gonna look into it, and there's gonna be arrests and all this shit, and all he did was like raid, like not even raid. They just like
They
for camera purposes.
They want James Comey on a cross.
Hang on. They brought cameras to show police outside of John Bolton's house. That's the most people got from that. Now the story's gone. Isn't that funny? And it came around right around the Epstein stuff, which is interesting, right? I'm telling you, dude. Like, it's fucking kindergarten psychology. It's kindergarten marketing, and motherfuckers fall for it. Like, Piers Morgan right now is proudly saying, see, look, we recognize a Palestinian state. See? When there's like, what? 2 miles left of it? Congratulations, guys. Give him a fucking clap. Round of fucking applause. Thank you, Starmer, and fucking whoever the fuck else.
Crone.
Yeah. Here we go.
Decision
Well,
by
they
the
buddy
UK
up with the
and
guys
other
that are
countries
perpetrating the crime.
to declare a state of Palestine has been, ridiculed by Israelis as simply playing into Hamas's hands, giving them a reward for October the 7th. Is it meaningful to you at all?
Well, I mean, yeah, I think it's somewhat me. I mean, look, it's obviously a gesture more than anything else, but I do think it's significant that there's at least the feeling that there's a need to make the gesture. I think is a result of public opinion shifting so greatly on this. But I got to say,
I like that answer.
Look,
okay.
First of all, I'll just say a couple things.
Assessment,
Number one, right after 9/11, it was Colin Powell, the wisest member of George W. Bush's government, which is not saying much, who went to George W. Bush and said, you got to do a two-state solution now. Like, you have record high to Joel, the wisest member of George W. Bush's government, which is not saying much, who went to George W. Bush and said, you got to do a two-state solution now. Like, you have record high approval ratings. 9/11 just happened. This is the time we can get it done. And the reason Colin Powell said that was not because he wanted to give the Palestinians something, but because he knew that this was right at the center of the cause of why there's so much hatred for Americans in the Muslim world. And that we had every single president of my lifetime, with the exception of Trump, wanted a two-state solution. None of them could ever get it done. None of them could ever get it done, in large part because of the enormous power of the Israel lobby in the United States of America.
The Arabs
because they didn't want to get it done, Dave. Come on, dude. I'm giving him credit, and he fucking fucks me up anyways. They don't. They didn't want to give the fucking thing.
Like jackasses.
Come on. If Israel behaves like a satellite for the U.S., why the fuck would they give that strategic positioning up? Why would they do that? You have the idea of like pipelines and shit, and you're trying to go against Russia and their pipeline to Europe. Why not have allies do this shit for you? Why the fuck? Like, why do you think they're celebrating Al Qaeda running Syria right now? Fucking David fucking Petraeus? Are you kidding me? That's an old school fucking name. Comes out of a fucking closet from somewhere. It's just unearthed from fucking cobwebs. Pops up out of nowhere to say, "Welcome to America, Al Qaeda." Out of nowhere. Come on, dude. Holy Christ. They can all say words out loud, Dave. anyone can say free Palestine, Dave. Anyone can say two states. Well, personally, I support a two-state solution. Are you going to work towards it?
Well, the sun's in my eyes.
Bring in Anthony.
and
New phone, who
Craig and them is
dis?
down by the Safeway.
Bring that shit in. New phone, who dis? Fuck. Sorry, Joe. Go ahead.
Well, what happened was me and Craig and them were down by the Safeway, and the sun was in my eyes, and a bunch of other stuff happened, and, well, you already said it. New phone, who dis?
Just quiet delays of things. Well, I was gonna do universal health care, but I don't want to piss too many people off.
Well, I was going to do the Epstein files, but, it's going to crash our economy. I can't do it.
Like it's just
There's a lot of funny stuff in there.
it's like how do these things just continue on like that? Just words out being said out loud as being a form of like, well, it's a good sign. No, dude. There we go.
It's
large part.
Good.
This has got to be the most unusual kind of verbal diarrhea.
Guys are
Like,
geniuses,
clinically.
man.
Like, I think this is clinical verbal diarrhea.
Smart people out there. All right, here we go.
Because of the enormous power of the Israel lobby in the United States of
The
America.
Arabs
Israel
rejected
lobby,
it.
There is one
Israel
second.
agreed.
I know. We heard you say that. Anyway.
No, you need to talk about that.
Yeah,
Israel
you're wrong,
agreed
but
to
okay.
every single two-state
Yeah,
solution.
okay, yeah, right. Okay. Anyway,
You telling me I'm wrong?
I
They did
actually,
not.
you know what?
For the 15th time,
I
you're
actually-
100% wrong. Benjamin Netanyahu,
That's a
the
lie.
longest-serving prime minister. Benjamin Netanyahu, the longest-serving prime minister in Israeli history, has made at the center of his entire career
recent news
thwarting a
debuts.
Palestinian state. He has said this in his own words
Yeah, I don't
over
think
and
that- I
over and
agree.
over again. You don't know what you're talking about if you
You're
think
lying.
that Israel has just been
Fact
trying.
check.
No,
People
you're
that are
just
watching this
dumb.
fact check
You
it.
don't know what you're
Every
talking
single-
about, dude.
Now you want to attack
You're
me
calling me
saying
a
I'm dumb.
liar.
Address the
you're
issue.
calling me a liar, dude, and you're
Yeah,
full of shit. You
because
don't know
it's
shit.
factual.
You don't
I'll
know
tell you,
anything.
I'll
Oh,
tell
he's
you,
full of shit,
opposite
Dave.
Tatum.
You've gone on
Prove
some
it.
IDF
Wait a sec,
tours.
wait
You
a
don't know
sec.
shit.
Prove it,
Wait a
Dave.
sec. I actually think.
I did what?
If you
I
want,
did
if
the
you,
IDF
if you,
tour.
I
wasn't
actually
there
think.
with IDF.
Listen, opposite Tatum.
Prove it, Dave. Prove he's full of shit. Do it. I'm very sure this guy's full of shit. This is my first time seeing him ever, but I'm very sure he's full of shit. But prove it to us, Dave. Prove it. Ask those simple questions. Make him answer them. You could even do the fucking Israel nukes thing, right? Like, hey, how come they have nukes? No one cares. How come? Do you care, Officer Tatum? Officer Tay? Do you fucking care about them having nukes? Whatever.
Since you brought up nukes, Jordan, there's actually like a government protocol over there for the potential use of them. It's called the Samson option.
I've heard of such things from.
That's just the take everybody down with us option.
It's I've learned that from the guy fighting the Talmud the hardest, Dubster Brian. He's told me about the Samson option. But either way, like the nuke thing, everyone's aware they have nukes, but no one gives a fuck about regulation about it at all. Meanwhile, everyone else is following regulations, aren't they? On paper, at least. You have simple fucking really simple, dumb arguments you can make about all these, about any topic you want to go into in regards to Israel, especially with Gaza. I mean, you have them right there, first-hand shit, and you have to make this guy get on screen and say, "No, that didn't happen." How do you know? Listen, I left my oven on. I'm gonna have to be like right back. All right, guys. I'll see you later. I'll be quick. Trust me, it'll be quick. My house is like only like 30 miles away. I'll be right back. All right, here we go.
Big joke, but that really is where we're at.
Yeah, seemingly. Here we go.
I've interviewed Bill
Get
Clinton
mad
a
at
number
me
of
for
times,
criticizing
and
Dave
he
in
was
this.
emphatic
Calling him
about
mediocre.
the fact the
Get
closest they
mad at me
came
for
was
that.
when he says Arafat walked
Okay,
away
okay.
from what many people now see was probably the best deal that was ever going to be on the table. I also think the assassination of Rabin was one of those moments from which I don't think anything has ever really recovered. from that. Killed
Yeah,
by an extremist on his own side. Right?
By a Netanyahu fan.
Right,
Yeah.
and that may well be one of the reasons Netanyahu doesn't want to go down the same road. We just don't know. He acts in self-interest and everything else. Look, I've got to leave it there. I've got to leave it there. I'm sorry. It's been a great debate. You guys have been great. I really appreciate.
Okay, that means I can leave it there too. All right. I mean, I guess interesting. Kind of. Once you see the topics, it becomes kind of predictable to me of what both teams will say. But yeah, just it like it is what it is. Maybe I'm like overly trying to be like a perfectionist about everything. Maybe, but I think I have some valid criticisms, right, Dave Smith fans? Come on, I have something I'm saying, right? Or am I just out of my fucking mind? Because Dave keeps popping up and debating these, in my opinion, blatant liars and propagandists. And Dave doesn't put him on trial for being a full of shit liar. Because if you can't get past that, then what are we doing here? Like, there's a debate on topics where like it's point for point, right? That makes sense. You're trying to like figure out what's the correct answer, or what's the right way to go about things, or what happened in this incident or that incident. That makes sense to me. But when someone's like, I'm concerned, like I'm very stuck on a side, and I will lie to protect that side. Now you're not debating anymore. At that point, you're not in what I would call a debate. Thus, I think there'd be a need to showcase that, or maybe he's not full of shit. Maybe he's not lying. He's just saying what he believes in. Well, you can put forward a question or questions to make him have to negotiate that. Like, hey, man, is it really about your love for Israel, or is it really about the truth? In this scenario, Israel did something fucked up, and there's no way around it. I need you to answer for it. If you look down and shuffle papers around and say, oh, no, well, all right, I have an answer for that. They were allegedly Hamas, right? And he makes some bullshit answer up. That should be enough, at least for me, or anyone with a fucking brain, to be like, okay, no matter what I say to you. If I give you video footage of Netanyahu shooting a child in the face on camera, it's not AI, it's perfectly proven. That was Netanyahu. He killed a kid. No reason for it in front of this camera, and it's all caught. I have to believe that this guy might defend it if he was willing to go to those lengths with other stories. And thus, if that's the case, why the fuck are you debating about this? Give me someone who really does actually support Israel, like really does, like truly does. Not just some full of shit artist that's here to spit out fucking talking points and propaganda to trick the audience, or maybe just a couple of them, right? Because Officer Tatum has to realize, let's say he's full of shit, right? And he's a fucking propagandist. He has to realize that the most of the audience is not going to lean on his side of things. Because we see too much shit, right? We all have smartphones and the internet and brains, right? So most people will not fall on that side. But maybe if he's a propagandist, maybe he's hoping to get a couple of people, just siphon a little bit of them. Come over to my side. Maybe you have family in Israel, maybe you're Jewish, whatever, and maybe you have like some sort of affinity for this country called Israel, for whatever reason. Maybe you visited there once, and you're like, yeah, I like this place. It's dope. Maybe you saw a concert there. Maybe your favorite artist is from there. Maybe you're a Gal Gadot fan. Whatever the fuck it is. Whatever your bias might be. This guy might be able to siphon you from Piers Morgan and Dave Smith's crowd and get him on his side. And those things lead to bad things. When you're led by liars, it is a guarantee bad thing that's going to happen. It's guaranteed. In fact, the bad thing already happened. That you followed and fell for a fucking liar. That is way different than someone that actually believes in what they're saying. But then again, we're in kindergarten, and we haven't even made it to that point of like, hey, I don't want anyone lying to me, period. Like, openly. Not as like a matter of fact of like, yeah, of course we don't want anyone lying to us. I mean, to actually keep that conscious in your mind. I don't want to be caught by anyone fucking lying to me. I don't want that ever in my life. Instead, we just relegate it to a matter of factness, which means it doesn't get examined, it doesn't get studied, it doesn't get worked on. It's just there, dormant, as a matter of fact of reality. And in my opinion, bad things can happen from that when you turn off your fucking critical thinking skills. But you know what? I will leave it there. There's your video. Please subscribe that felt like an after school special, bro. Don't take me too serious, folks. I have thoughts and ideas, and I rant away. There's your video. Please subscribe if you feel like. Comment, agree, disagree. Tell me what you think in the comment section. Do you agree with me about Dave? Once again, Officer Tatum. I don't even really know this guy, but he smells like he's full of shit, and he will defend his point of view no matter what, even if he's fucking blatantly wrong about something. But I don't see that about Dave. I think Dave would admit if he's wrong about something. It's just, I think he gets caught up, his debate style, he gets caught up in the bullshittery of the other person he's arguing with. I'm like, man, you can improve that. You can work on that shit. I think he means well. I really do think Dave Smith means well. But he might get a little bit too much caught up in defending himself for whatever reason. Maybe he thinks if his character gets hurt, that he'll lose the debate. And if he loses the debate, he can't showcase that, hey, there is something bad happening over here that I'm pointing out. Maybe that's his mentality about it, but I think there's better ways to handle this. But, it is what it is. It's another chump thrown in front of him that he's obviously just destroying these guys because they're chumps. They're spitting bullshit, but I think he falls for too many trapdoors, I think, personally. That's just me. You tell me what you think in the comment section. And also the arguments overall, the topics. Maybe, actually, I would love to hear this. If you have a question, put down your question in the comment section. If you can ask Officer Tate, one question to make him okay, you can't be full of shit and answer this question legitimately. If you're full of shit, you're going to dance around with this question. I'd love to hear what you guys think would be a good question to ask. But yeah, comment section, do it. Don't forget to check out the links in the description box for charities or for the Discord if you want to join that. And also, obviously, the sourced video if you are so butthurt that we're talking during a reaction video. Please go watch the original version. And with all that said, please give this video a thumbs down. Fuck.